Both sides standing there for the national anthem. This is the AFL International Cup Round 3. Peter Holden with you on CBC Sports. Amy Legault and Laura Turner now to have the toss and elect which end they will be kicking towards to. Beautiful sunshine beaming down here at Plenty Warm Memorial Park. Barely any breath of wind about. Amy Legault has won the toss and is elected to kick towards the far end from our camera. That is the city end of the ground here, southern end at Plenty Warm Memorial Park. The northern end or clubroom end is closest to camera as the pennant's handed over from the GB Swans team to Canada before we get underway for this round 3 fixture. Other games on today are kicking off at 12 o'clock at Melbourne University. That game will be between the USA Freedom, and they are taking on the European Crusaders. Also, as well, we have a game between Fiji, and they are taking on, in their division, Papua New Guinea. That game being played out, pardon me, Fiji taking on Pakistan, rather. That game being played out the Eastern Devils ground at Mulgrave Reserve in Wheelers Hill. And the other game, of course, is Ireland taking on PNG. That's a 2 p.m. start at Hallam Recreation Reserve. All is in readiness. Will be underway in a moment here on CBC Sports. The 2017 AFL International Cup Round 3 Pool A. It is the Great Britain Swans and Canada Northern Lights at Plenty War Memorial Park and Plenty. The Great Britain team wearing the dark blue, wearing the white with red, obviously, is the Canadians, the colours of their flags. As we wait to get into position, and we can see Amy Legault is going onto the ball for Canada. Also as well, Gomez taking up position. Lara Hilmy, who kicked that winning goal in that game. Well, when I say winning goal, to tie it up, to send it into extra time in that game against Fiji. An absolute classic last Sunday at Ransford Oval. Umpire, make sure everything's in readiness. We'll also be going into the huddles for you quarter time and 3/4 time, so you're able to hear what the coaches have to say. We're just about ready to get underway. Jones is going to start on the ball for Great Britain. She did plenty of damage against Pakistan in that game. In fact, I can see in there as well, it looks like it's going to be Danny Salter. And we're away again here on the AFL International Cup Round 3. Quick hand pass out the side to Hilmy. Hilmy got on the left boot, going in the Valerie Moreau direction. The ball did an awkward bounce away from her, went 10 metres over the boundary line and out of bounds. Half forward flank, we're around about 70 metres out from the Canadian goal, heading towards the southern or city end of the ground. We're going to have a throw in. Ramadan going up in the ruck. Ball went over her head. Now, the umpires haven't paid a penalty here because in the AFL there's been a change of rules at the top level where the rucks have to nominate. And if you're not the nominated ruck and the ball comes in, you touch it on the full before it hits the ground, a free kick's paid against you. So obviously they've sort of thrown that rule out for the AFL International Cup, particularly for the developing nations. As the ball hits the ground, Moreau goes in again with Danny Salter. Lucy Jones comes over the top of the pack. She can't extract it. Hailing a cap there is Gruber, and the umpire comes in and calls for a ball up. Inside 50 for Canada. As what an enthralling contest there. It's Hilmy going up against Jennifer Bennett. Bennett doing the job of having to try to stop her in her tracks. Going in there is Eels as well. Hurry kick out of the pack is going to go out. Now, was it on the full? Was it already over the line? The umpire says, in fact, he'd called for a ball up before that kick had come out. So we're resetting again. Ramadan wins the contest. Ewing was there. Jones quickly just slammed it on the boot, looking for meters. Danny Salter wants to try and run onto the football. Ends up doing a little bit of shepherding work. That was probably the smartest option in the end. Now going in to try and pick up the football, but getting dumped as she spun around there was Hocking. She was impressive in that game against Fiji with some of her bursts and long kicking. And the umpire circles the pack once again, blows the whistle and calls for a ball up. Centering we are on the eastern side of the ground here at Plenty War Memorial Park. No score either side. Early stages first term. Ramadan won it. Went out the back. Eels tries to get on the football. Couldn't do so. Rowe lurking nearby. Had it momentarily. Was Nguyen. Dispossessed of the football. Hailing a cap was Ramadan. Umpire ignored it. Turner hurriedly out of the pack. Moved it towards half forward. Coming after it is Milford. Milford went to ground 3-on-1. The numbers were purely against her. Hilmy gets another possession. Gets on the left boot. Try to set it up there for Oja. Ball's close towards the boundary line. Will get away from her and out while Turner was chasing her. And will call for a ball in. Eastern side of the ground. In fact, the umpire said it was so close to the boundary line it actually went out. He was right on the spot there, so in fact it will be the captain for the GB Swans in Laura Turner. Of course, in Aussie rules, for those watching the first time, if you kick it over the line on the full and no one touches it, it is called out of bounds of the full and you're opponent gets a free kick. Or in this case, you see the kick that was going on the full, but hands got touched to it. That means it's touched, and you'll have a throw in, where the umpire essentially turns his back to play, throws it back in over his head for the two rucks to go at it. So Ramadan to go in the contest this time against Rebecca Gomez. They'll set themselves. Ramadan played out a full forward for the GB Swans against Fiji in their game in round 1, and was impressive there, kicking, I think, about 4 goals. Moreau had the ball at her feet, couldn't pick it up, had to go again one more time, had support on that occasion from Willis. Ball in dispute, quick little hand pass out, swinging around and putting it on the boot there was Lara Hilmy. Hilmy just kicked it forward. Now trying to harass for the football there is Ramadan, and the umpire's blown a whistle on a free kick. Rather, I should have said earlier, pardon me, 12 was Hilary Perry. After getting her call right with her kicking the winning goal last Sunday, I accidentally called her Hilmy, so pardon me, Hilary Perry, we're in the 12 today. Free kick going to Leah Vancevenet, who's been impressive playing in the reserves for the Eastern Devils and had the opportunity to play in their VFL women's side for a couple of occasions in the Swiss Wellness competition. Moreau dropped the football, got it back again, hurried snap on goal, and it's away to the right for a minor score. So 1 behind for Canada, Great Britain no score, early stages here. First term action on CBC Sports right across the globe. Thanks for your company, wherever you might be, particularly those in Canada at the moment, which I'm guessing around your time being midday here, probably about 10 p.m. Eastern time, if I'm correct. As the ball out of the back line for the GB Swans. Vancevenet brought the ball to ground. Swooping onto it quickly there was Kerwin, has a flying shot at goal, and it's away to the right. All the attacking done early by the Northern Lights, 2 behinds, and the Great Britain Swans yet to score. As we said, Canada, the reigning international champions, winning the title in 2014 over Ireland, while the Great Britain Swans defeated Ireland for the European Championship on their debut in 2016. Going in there again is Hilmy, dispossessed of the football. The umpire said you're dropping it, and it'll be a free kick going the way of the Great Britain Swans. I think it might be Alex Salter back there with the football off the half-back flank. Here's the chip going up the line, dropped the mark, had support there from Eels, close towards the boundary line. Ramadan goes in to try and create some pressure, but running through with the football there. Ojar now puts it inside 50, now getting on the ball is Kerwin, who has a flying shot, and it's straight over the goal umpire's hat. First goal there for the Canadians, Nicola Kerwin out of Ontario. And they go to 1-8. GB Swans yet to score here on CBC Sports. Thanks for your company in the late hours of Saturday night in North America. And just early afternoon here in Melbourne, Australia on a Sunday. Umpire with the ball back in the middle of the ground, Nicola Kerwin from the Etobicoke Kangaroos. I think it was last year or 2015. She won the best and fairest for the league on debut. As the ball's up in the air and one down by Gomez. Trying to come in a later tackle, Danny Salter. Umpire blows the whistle, calls for the ball up. And we'll have it again in the middle of the ground. Away we go again. Up in the air. Ramadan beaten out by Gomez, who's been dominating the ruck early. Christy Ojar tries to get onto the ball. Taken away from it. There comes Valerie Moreau. Gets on the right boot. It's a skill effort. It is dribbling, 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 and it'll go through for a minor score. Moreau looking dangerous early. A minor score sees them move to 1-3-9. Great Britain no score. Valerie Moreau, of course, from Montreal. And she played for the Montreal Angels Boston Demons combination at the US AFL Nationals in Sarasota last year and impressed. And after that performance, came down in November to Melbourne to relocate to try and take up Aussie rules. And she was invited to the Victorian Women's Football Academy, in which she trained at over the summer and, of course, plays with the Eastern Devils in the VFL women's competition. Because the full-back stepped over the line of the goal square when kicking back in, the umpires called for a ball up. The Swans were thinking about knocking it through, but it's been kept alive. I think it's Hilmy who tried to get a hurry kick away, but she got knocked over. Hurried snap across the face, was just punched away like a volleyball spike. Vancevenet was dispossessed of the football, immediately came to opponent, and the umpire says she didn't take possession of it when you caught her. And we will call for a free kick to go the way of the Swans, and they'll try and clear it out of the back pocket. So one of the tricky things the umpires is obviously paying those free kicks, but having to explain the rules to some of the players who may not be used to playing Aussie rules football that much. Most of the GB women are. They're playing a regular 18-a-side competition in the AFL London Women's League. Beth Bailey from full-back now goes out towards the half-back flank. Vancevenet had it momentarily. She got dispossessed of the football. Gomez gets in there, gets a fired hand pass out, gets to Nicola Kerwin. Kerwin very close towards the boundary line. trying to take a mark and nearly ending up over the fence was the player in Robertson, and also Louise Smith as well. Just went guts first right into that. And if she doesn't have a couple of injured ribs or nearly see breakfast come back up, I wouldn't be surprised. It was harsh right into that metal pole fence. And they hit it at full steam. So the umpire's just on the spot there and said it was out of bounds of the full. So Smith will get the resulting free kick. Looking further up the line. Taking her time. GB Swans still get to go inside 50 in this first term. Slight breeze, and it's blowing down towards the southern end. Maybe 1 goal advantage, if anything. Vance Vented on the left boot. Goes up the line. And one bounce and over, and we will have a throw-in. Other games, as I said, on at the moment, USA versus European Crusaders. That game being live streamed via YouTube on the US AFL page. And other games at the moment, you can keep a look on Twitter on AFL INT Cup for their scores. Is Ireland versus Papua New Guinea. That game at 2 o'clock, and the other game underway, taking on Fiji and Pakistan, as Nicola Kerwin goes for another snap. And it's away to the right, and it will register as a minus score. So 1-4-10, Canada doing all the attacking. The GB Swans stack on their back half, no score. First term action here in the 2017 AFL International Cup, round 3, Pool A. As the kick back in from defence, hangs in the breeze. Gomez was there. Moreau's lurking around the pack, and now she has the football. Elects to go with a hand pass over the top, looking for Legault, is dispossessed. They scream holding the ball, and the umpire says, yeah, dropped it cold, and it will be a free kick going the way of the GB Swans. So GB with the ball in the back line. Up, kicked it straight into Legault, who did well to fend that away, close towards the boundary line, and it will go over and out. And Legault, I should say, that is Amy. There's 2 of them playing on the side, Amy and Margot. As the umpire will throw it back in, half-forward flank for the Canadians, going to the southern end. He's it back into play from behind. Gomez brought it to ground. Moreau chases after it, gets on the left boot. It's a bouncing, dribbling football, no one in the square, and it's been shepherded through for a goal. Moreau has her first. She went for the goal square, just kept dribbling. Hilary Perry was chasing after it and elected just to go through without trying to chip it through herself. Moreau has her first, and the Canadians now go across to 2-4-16 in control against the GB Swans, who'll be very concerned at this stage with no score. Peter Holden with you here on CBC Sports and from girlsplayfooty.com. Great to have your company this afternoon in Melbourne as the umpire clears the way and says we'll throw the ball up and restart. Ramadan versus Gomez. Gomez wins the tap again. Salter tries to kick it along the ground. Does so smartly. Trying to go and pick it up his new end. She's immediately claimed. Trying to get a hand pass out. Hilmy went in to see if she could get the football. Couldn't do so. Ills was over the top as well. Came out with Danny Salter. Salter got on the left. This is the first time they've gone inside 50. Was looking for Stacey Hughes. Ball gets out the back. Canadians under pressure here. Going in to try and pick the football up there is the player in Enor, who now goes out towards the half-back flank. Trying to make a contest of it. There was Hocking. Managed to turn the Canadian opponent inside out. Hilmy under pressure. Got the little hand pass away. Using Oja, who goes up towards Valerie Moreau, who takes a mark at centre wing and decides to bomb it in long towards centre half forward. Overrunning the football there was the player in Robertson. Got support there in Hilary Perry. In goes Robertson, chasing desperately after the football. The boundary line will beat her and it will go over and out. 40 metres around from the right-hand point post. Valerie Moreau just giving absolute heartache to the Swans at the moment. They kick on centre wing, just put it in the dangerous spot at half forward, and twice she's caught them napping the Swans. As bringing it back in was Ramadan, out the back door. They try to get a hurry kick in there, spoiled. Laura Park's in there. They're trying desperately, the Swans, to clear off their half back, and they find themselves stalled with the ball going over the boundary line and out of bounds. 2-4-16 Canada, no score Great Britain here at Plenty War Memorial Park, home of the Diamond Creek Women's Football Club. As the ball is brought back into play, Ramadan won the contest, brought to ground, throwing the knees in there is Hocking. Hilmy over the top as well, just watching on. Ramadan circling, and the umpire blows the whistle and calls for a ball up. So we'll go again. Only about 4 players in the forward half here for the GB Swans, 2 from Canada, 2 for the Swans. The rest around the ball. As Gomez wins the tap, Hilmy tries to get through traffic like she was an Uber driver, but just got steered sideways. Going in to take the mark there is Kerwin. Kerwin goes around on the right boot, but a mark taken on the last line of defence for the GB Swans in front of Moreau. They elect to go for the switch. That's the call, but she's taking forever. If she takes any longer, it'll be dinner time. She gets on the right boot. She goes long up the wing. Willis was there, brought the ball to ground. Oh, play gets cleaned out behind play. The umpire didn't see it, called play on. Going in the Moreau direction, got away from her while under pressure from Louise Darby, and it will go over and out. We'll have a throw in. Now, they parked the bus almost behind the goals, which is probably smart because the problem is the ball does go over the back here at Diamond Cricket. It actually goes down a valley, and it takes about a minute for someone to run down the valley, get the ball and throw it back in again, particularly when we're playing straight 17.5-minute quarters. In fact, a free kick was pulled out of that, and it is going the way of the Canadians. And they elect to go with a short pass. It was a flat one. Kerwin goes to snap over the shoulder. It's away to the right and registers as a minor score. 2 goals, 5 behinds, 17. Canada. Great Britain Swans no score. For those watching Aussie Rules first time on CBC Sports, if you get between the big sticks, that's a goal. It's worth 6 points. And, of course, you get between the big stick and the little stick, that's a behind, and it's only worth 1 point. As the kick back into play, now finds Hocking, who shook off 2. Hocking from the Swans, kicks it back towards centre half back. Traffic jam of players. One of them involved there was Hunt, who got knocked away for the football. And it's just bodies going in all over the place. The umpire has no choice but to blow for the whistle and call for a ball up. Centre half forward here for the Canada Northern Lights. In control at the moment, well and truly. Gomez won it down. Hilmy got the hand pass out. A teammate immediately claimed by Lucy Jones. Tries to get it back to Hilmy. Got knocked off the football. Pack quickly converges. Vance Bennett wanted to get involved. Ball hit the ground. Jones one more time. Gets knocked out. Ramadan gets the football, just slammed it on the right boot, hoping to gain some distance. Umpire said it didn't go 15, so play on. Gomez gets the hand pass out to Vance Bennett, who's got to try and get through traffic. Ball's knocked away from her over the boundary line and out. And again, for those watching for the first time through CBC Sports, for a mark to be taken, you've got to kick it more than 15 metres, and if a person catches it on the full, whether your teammate or the opposition, then it's paid a mark and you get to go back and have a free kick without anyone interfering with you, or you can elect to play on quickly. Here's the hurry kick out of the pack there by Sutherland. Now moved in towards the middle of the ground. Going to pick it up there is Milford, but she's caught straight away. And the umpire says, let's call for a ball up. So we'll have it between centre and centre half forward for the GB Swans. They're attacking clubroom end of the ground here, Plenty War Memorial Park. Going in to lay the tackle was Hocking. Spell free now. Here's the hurry kick going forward. Sutherland just went through her hands. Umpire's blown the whistle. Might have been either early on the mark or said the player was held. But nonetheless, it is Jessica Milford for the GB Swans. She has it. It'll be a long kick that she'll need from 45 metres out. Hughes is pushing and shoving in the goal square. They go in the Hughes direction. 1-on-2. Coming at the front spot there was the player in Honor, who tries to knock it forward. Got it to the advantage of Irwin. Irwin goes in towards the middle of the ground. Kerwin and Valerie Moreau went at the same time, spoiled each other. Beth Bailey kicks it out towards the wing. Moreau's going to get there in the foot race first. Try to pick it up one-handed. Did the shepherding work, allowed to Van Savannah to get it and get away from Jones. Van Savannah got on the right boot. Went up towards half forward with a kick. Long bomb, and it works out okay. Mark taken for the Northern Lights, swinging around there on the kick this time. It looks like Torrance wanted to go inside 50, was looking for Robertson, but the ball got away from her and went over the boundary line and out of bounds on the full. So a chance for the GB Swans to kick the ball back into play from the back pocket. They've stemmed the bleeding for the moment, but Canada have the 17-point advantage. The score at the moment, 2-5-17 to no score. One Canada player having a little bit of trouble behind play at the moment after that last contest. It looks like it was Tricia Rolfe, and she's coming off the ground, not looking all that flash. And one suspects she's had the stuff and knocked out of it. That could be her day done. As they wait for the player to come off the ground. Now, I'm not sure why they're waiting, because it's 17.5 minutes with no time on. In a traditional Aussie rules game, there's time on, such as when there's stoppages in play or a goal gets kicked, so you get that 30 seconds back whenever they've got to get the ball back to the middle, example. But with no time on, that means even when the ball goes out of play, the umpire stops it, the clock is ticking, so it's not your friend if you're certainly trailing. Ball on the far side of the ground, tackle laid on, but it manages to almost spill free, but the umpire said it had already gone over the boundary line and out of bounds as Perry was surrounding that footy. And we'll call for, in fact, he's pulled out a free kick out of that. He's pulled out a free kick for the Great Britain Swans. So they have the ball half back. Turner. As the hooter sounds, that is quarter time here at Plenty War Memorial Park. And the Canadians will be very, very happy. They go in to the quarter time break rather with a 17-point lead, 2-5-17, leading no score. Great Britain probably went into today's game maybe a little too cocky, and the reigning champions have decided to give them a little bit of an early wake-up call. Intriguing. Salter, all locked in there. Umpire calls for a ball up. Away we go again. This time run out there in the ruck by Hocking, so change there made by the Swans. Try to put into a dangerous position there for Blount to try and get onto it, Freya Blount, but taken away from her. And straight down the throat there of Alex Salter. So an opportunity for the Great Britain Swans to have a shot on goal. They'll be kicking from 40 to 45 metres out on an acute angle, probably a 45-degree angle. 1-2 steps, kicks it. Good distance on it, through several sets of hands. Wasn't touched, it stayed in. Right on the last line of defence, and they'll shove it over the boundary line and out of bounds. First time Canada's really been under siege with a shot on goal. The Swans had one inside 50 in the first term when they looked to go to Hughes, but it was taken out easily by an oar as the ball is in dispute, 25 metres out from goal. Going in there to try and lay the tackle on Hilmy there was the player in Eels. Sends it close towards the boundary line. Hurry kick away. Only goes as far as Hocking. He slid on hands and knees. Jones is there for support, waiting for the spill, and she goes in and picks it up now, but Jones is immediately caught, got it to Ramadan, and that is harsh. The umpire's paid holding the ball there. He was blindsided. I thought it was a clean hand pass, but nonetheless, the free kick goes with Canada, and that's what the umpire says. Kicks it out towards the wing, eastern side of the ground. Was trying to look for the player there in Derby to get onto it. Miscued the hand pass, though. In dispute as Nguyen goes in there for the Northern Lights. Umpire blows the whistle and calls for a ball up. That's what happened near the centre of the ground here at Plenty War Memorial Park. 17-0. Canada leads Great Britain. Out of the pack, hurry kick towards the wing. 1, 2, 3 bounces, and it will eventually go over, being chased by Louise Derby. You're here on the AFL International Cup on CBC Sports. As the ball is thrown back in, Hocking knocked it away. Hurried hand pass out. Trying to get in there was Hilary Perry to move it forward. Hurried little kick along the ground there, Robertson. Now, Nguyen off the back line, only as far though as Hocking. And she'll take the mark forward to centre. Now the player came at her and the umpire said, you didn't go back behind the mark, that's a 25-metre penalty. And that will bring it inside 50. So an opportunity here for Great Britain. I don't think they'll score from there, but I think they'll at least be able to set it up. Looking to go long on the right boot. It is high, it is floating through the air. It's away to the left-hand side and will register as a minor score. The first score for Great Britain, they move along to 1 behind. Canada Northern Lights are sitting on 2-5-17 here at the AFL International Cup. The hurry kick back into play. Moreau chasing afterwards, very close towards the boundary line. Moreau had it momentarily, knocked out of her hands. Sliding in hands and knees there for the Swans. Ramadan was there, did the smothering work. Ball in dispute as it pops out. Hurry shot on goal here by Sutherland towards the top of the goal square. Chasing after the football was Blomp, but it's taken away by the Northern Lights. Close towards the boundary line, and it will... Has it gone on the full? Was there a free kick given away against Great Britain because the player was dealt with behind the play? Now, it might be a little bit tricky for those that are normally AFL fans when they hear Swans thinking of calling the red and white, because if you think of Swans, you think of the Sydney Swans who wear red and white. No, the GB Swans are wearing essentially the Bulldogs colours like their men, the red, white and blue. The Northern Lights, of course, wearing the white and red today. As the ball is on the far side of the ground, trying to go in there is short. Lost out. Canada attacking again, being called forward by Amy Legault, who gets onto it, dropped it, had to try and get it back again, got dealt with. The umpire said, "You're over the top of the football, play on." But now an opportunity off the side of the boot from 25 metres out. Kerwin chasing after the football, got players on her hammer, has to go in and pick it up, tried to shake one tackle, hand pass to herself, got rid of it, right up against the boundary line. It stacks on the mill. Umpire calls for a ball up. Going in there and hailing a cab there was Louise Smith, and the umpire says, "I'll have the pill back." Jones on the ball as well. On the bottom of the pack was Robertson. Ball is up in the air. Slap forward. Sutherland trying to move it forward. Only as far as Kerwin. Kerwin, snap on goal, and she gets it. Kerwin has a second. And Canada skip out to a 3-5-23 to 1 behind lead. It was always going to be a bonus if they could kick it towards the northern end. They've got one of them already. And they're already looking up a very steep hill at the moment, the Great Britain Swans. They can't afford the lead to blow it any further. 22-point lead to Canada here on CBC Sports. A reminder as well that the semi-finals are on Tuesday. Keep an eye on the AFL Team Canada page or on Twitter, IC17 Lights, to see who Canada are playing in the semi-finals. And they'll be able to tell you the AFL International Cup stream. Or if you're following Great Britain, they'll be playing semi-finals. Follow the GB Swans Facebook page, and they'll give you an update on when and where their game will be once obviously all that's decided. As it's taken away by Hocking. Hocking long in towards the middle of towards the centre half forward position. Got knocked away. Pell went in there as well. Couldn't extract the football. Danny Salter's lurking on the side of the pack and they can get it out to her. Jones lurking as well. So is Moreau. And the umpire blows the whistle and says it's all trapped in there and we'll call for a ball up. Ramadan putting her hand up and says she'll go in the contest as up it goes in the air. Ball hit the ground. Jones immediately wrapped up and will call for a ball up. I think going up in the ruck here, I think might be Jacqueline Halliday for the Northern Lights. One of the players from Canada who play for the Eastern Devils in the VFLW and AFL Southeast competitions. Well, this was going in there. Couldn't get the football out. Hurry kick off the ground. Dribbles to the left, out of bounds. And we will have a throw in for you. Other games on at this very moment as we speak. It is USA taking on the European Crusaders. And from what I can gather early, it's a 60-0 score there. So USA running away with that. We'll get some updates for you at around half-time, plus a special interview for you as well. So stick around for that. As the ball is at half forward, only to be taken away by Moreau, whose kick was partially smothered. Laura Turner has to try and go in and get the football. She couldn't do so. Chasing after it as well, Alexander Pell. Couldn't get the football out. Coming forward to try and take it on there was the player in Van Savannet. Got one over the top to Amy Legault. Legault on the left boot, comes in board. Now a foot race on. Who's going to get there first? Anna was chasing after it, and she was going with McDevitt. McDevitt uses the body well, gets in front, gets a little kick away as she was being brought to ground. No 15 play on as soon as the player caught it. And Danny Salter, and the umpire said she had no prior opportunity to get rid of that football and will call for a ball up. In fact, pardon me, the player that was caught with it is the 81 in Kirsty Gray. As going up there again was Hocking doing the ruck work this quarter for the GB Swans. Only be taken away. Benjamin just slammed it on the boot and found Amy Legault. The Northern Lights captain has the ball. She is at centre half forward. Decides to draw the player towards her. Thought about going originally for Moreau, but got it out to Willis out the side. Willis runs in from 35 metres out. It's away to the right. Minus score 3-6-24 Canada. Great Britain 1 behind here in the AFL International Cup Women's Division. The winners of the semi-finals on Tuesday go through to the grand final Saturday, August 19th, 4:30 p.m. local time at Etihad Stadium in Melbourne, a venue that can hold around about 52,000 people, if I'm correct. The second largest stadium in Melbourne, the largest, of course, being the MCG, which can host 100,000, where they're holding the men's AFL International Cup grand final. Here's the hurry kick towards centre half forward. Getting in front there and nearly losing her feet at the crucial moment was Louise Smith. Managed to get it in towards the centre of the ground. Oh, Vansametta just charged through and now got on the right boot. Going along towards the top of the goal square. Trying to put a hand up in there was McDevitt. She did well. Had to try and knock it out of defence while she was under all kinds of pressure there from Bowden, who was chasing after her. Vansametta dance moves and then got caught dropping the football. It's always like that, isn't it? Just like a Saturday night. You show fancy work on the floor, and then you always come undone in the end. As the kick by McDevitt goes 40 metres up the line, came off hands. Great hand pass, put it into traffic. Getting caught and collared immediately, Freya Blount. And the umpire says, taken too high, free kick, Great Britain Swans in front of the scoreboard here at Plenty War Memorial Park, home of the Diamond Creek Women's Football Club. As she kicked it straight into the player on the mark and Legault. It's one thing about female football, that, and it even happens here in Melbourne, some of the lower divisions. Some of the players, when they get a free kick or a mark, get too close to the player standing on the mark, when really you've got to go back 5 or 6 steps to give yourself at least a decent run in so you don't get too close, in which that occasion happens, you kick it into the opposition player's hands. Nonetheless, the GB Swans out of that play have managed to move it up the line. And it is a free kick by the look of it going the way of Canada. As claiming it is Hillary Perry. Perry with the football. She joined us on the Girls Play Footy podcast several editions ago. You can find that on Apple Podcasts or on SoundCloud. As now getting it and going to slam it on the boot there, Beth Bailey. Went in the direction of Ramadan to try and find her. In fact, she was going to try and find the intended target there in Alana Blount, but the ball was knocked away from her and went over the boundary line and out of bounds. So, in this contest, Ramadan to do the ruck work. Ball blown away from her and Hocking. Lara Hilmy was chasing after the football. Hurry kick out of the pack. Legault dropped it. Umpire doesn't blow the whistle. And now he calls for a ball up. Getting involved there as well was Ali Sutherland. And we'll throw it up and reset ourselves. Inside the forward 50 for the GB Swans. Yet to kick their first goal. Scrapping on hands and knees. Hurry kick by Hocking as she gets brought to ground. Immediately caught there. The Canadian player with nowhere to go. And that player caught was Kirsty Oja. As now on the half forward flank, the GB Swans half back for the Canada Northern Lights. Kerwin over around the football. Oh, Moreau gave the don't argue and rockets away. She got on the right boot, went out towards the half forward flank, looking for Robertson to get on the football, controlled it perfectly, put it inside 50 with a kick, awkward kick. Smith over around the football, Arnold coming out afterwards. Arnold had kicked 5 against Pakistan on Wednesday. Ball they cry, it popped out, opportunity here. Kerwin's calling for it at the hot spot, 30 metres out, trying to get involved there was the player in Pell. Kerwin turned him inside out there, not immediately caught, trying to get it through there and being pinned or in the back for Derby. The umpire says caught one in the back. And in fact, it is the play in Lucy Jones. Jones with the football, 35 metres out from defensive goal for the Great Britain Swans. Left boot, comes back inboard, over the head of a few players there, including one of them in Lara Hilmy. And she'll receive it now, though, out of the pack. Tried to take on and beaten by Sutherland, who just wrapped her up beautifully around the waist. And the umpire says that's holding the football. So Sutherland for the GB Swans, her side down by 23 points. Elects to go wide and to the right. It was a long, high kick. Try to put it to the team advantage. Getting shoved off the football was Freya Blonde. She'll go, where did I end up? Now has to get up and go again towards the pack. Tackle laid on, going in there, Legault, try to get a hurry kick away. The umpire says it came off the shin out of bounds on the full, I believe. Now, whose shins was it originally? It must have been the GB Swans, then picked up by Legault. A high number of out of bounds of the fulls for kicks close towards the boundary line, which you don't see that often. At least anyway in VFL Women's. And one of the players on the ground looking a bit distressed at the moment for the GB Swans. This play continues on. Hurried kick up towards half forward. Robertson comes out to meet the football. Wanted to unload and give it off to Kerwin, who ran around the football. Trying to force her way through there is a player in Baker. Couldn't extract it. Willis. And the umpire blows the whistle and calls for a ball up. 3 goals, 6 behind, 24 Canada. 1 behind being the Great Britain Swans. We have 2 goals kicked by Kerwin, 1 to Moreau. So far as Jones comes out of the pack and just slams on the left boot. Dribbling ball towards centre half forward. They need a lucky break here, the Swans, to try and get themselves back into this match. Because at the moment, even though it's not a big score put on by Canada, they're letting nothing through from GB. And the umpire's brought out a free kick for something behind the play. And it's the player you want in the hands of, Rania Ramadan. She can kick a footy, don't worry about that. But can she get the distance from my side from here, probably about 40 to 45 metres out? The only problem is when you do have a Ramadan, if she doesn't make the distance, they need someone tall in the square, and that's what we can spot by Hocking going down there now. No one offering a traditional lead, so they're expecting her to go long. She does. It hangs out right, and will go through for a minor score. So 2 behinds the GB Swans, 3-6-24, the Canada Northern Lights here on CBC Sports. Peter Holden with you on commentary. Paul Newport on camera. Great to have your company as we wait for the ball to come in from fullback at the southern end of the ground. The kick looking in the Willis direction over ahead and taken by Danny Salter. Salter, who was brilliant in the second half against Fiji in their game in round 1. Pardon me, against Pakistan in round 1, rather. Salter on the right. It is high, it is long, looking in the Hughes direction, came off hands. And another point. So 3 behinds the GB Swans. Canada 3-6-24. The Swans really do need to make the most of this while it's trapped inside their forward 50. Now the ball's gone down the back, and they're just waiting for a kid to bring it back into play. It's the only problem about this ground, the ball goes back in and they wait for it to come back. It kills a bit of time on the clock, which if you're a team behind, you don't want. As the kick is long out of defence, heading in the Amy Legault direction. She was in the middle of the pack. Ball hit the ground. Umpire said there was one for over the shoulder, and it is going the way of the GB Swans. And will it go to Gray? I believe so. So Gray for the Swans. She's 55 metres out from home. Goes back, kicks it long and high in towards the forward pocket. Went through several sets of hands. Salter's lurking around. Hughes trying to kick it off the carpet. Close towards the point post. Now they go for the boundary line. Is that deliberate? Ooh, geez, maybe because it's the standard football, they let that go. But in VFL Women's, they would certainly be asking the question. And I'd say it certainly would be paid deliberate as the ball was thrown back into play. A little bit of leeway considering the standard of football compared to the, obviously, top state league and national league levels in Australia. As Legault goes chasing after the football, gets bumped off of it, and goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. And in fact, it went out of bounds on the full. By the look of it, must have accidentally come with someone's shin from the GB Swans. And the player played on. Now this is a bit of confusion here. Now I thought it went out of bounds for a throw-in. The boundary umpire said it was on the full, and now he says, no, it's a throw-in. I thought there was too many on the fulls. He must be just judging a few incorrectly, this boundary umpires. It's thrown back into play. On hands and knees. Trying to get it out there is Eels. Couldn't shovel it out. Willis goes in again. Jones has it immediately wrapped up. Hocking tries to pull the football out for the Swans. Umpire blows the whistle and will call for another ball up. 3-6-24. Canada, 3 behinds. GB Swans here in the AFL International Cup. Umpire's blown the whistle and said there's a ruck infringement. Now, so the hooter's gone. So this is an opportunity for a shot at goal after the siren. So they can't play on and they've got to go long. So naturally, Canada will stack the back line. They get 1 kick and 1 kick only. They can't play on. So the shot being had here, from what I can see from a distance. And, oh, no. As that is, what's happened here is Jennifer Bennett had a shot after the siren, and it wasn't a shot. She went to, I guess, in a way, pass the football, but I'm not sure if she didn't hear the siren or not or realise it. And because she went to pass it, that's no good. You can't take a mark after the siren. It has to be a shot at goal. If it was a mark or interference with the football, that's it. It's dead ball. So a little bit of a misunderstanding by the look of it, but that's what you get with the international game with so many players still new to it. And Canada Northern Lights will take an advantage in here at half-time. They lead 3-6-24 to the GB Swans, 3 behinds. Swans no means out of it, but they've got a lot of work to do. They've had opportunities where they've had the ball in their forward 50, but have not been able to capitalise or been smart with their use. If you have a look at what GB do with the ball inside their forward 50 arc compared to what Canada do, you can really start to see the difference between the two sides. The Swans certainly have a lot of work to do. You'll see some players running on the ground having a warm-up. That's because immediately after this at 2 p.m. Australian time, there is a VFL women's match on. It's round 12 of that competition where Diamond Creek are playing the Box Hill Hawks. Diamond Creek, this is their home ground. They're in the red and blue, and wearing the brown and gold is the Box Hill Hawks, who are a new team to the VFL women's competition. They're aligned with the Hawthorn AFL Football Club. At the moment, they're sitting, if I'm correct off the top of my head, 8th on the premiership table, while sitting 2nd at the moment is the Diamond Creek side after their loss last week against the Darebin Falcons. If you do have some time over the week, I recommend you go on YouTube and to search AFL Victoria and look for the game between Diamond Creek and Darebin. It was a cracking contest, that one where Darebin ended up coming out with the chocolate.
Live across the web, this is the AFL International Cup.
Welcome back here to Plenty War Memorial Park for the AFL International Cup. Thank you very much to Sam Mostyn. We actually had a bit of a shorter halftime break than we were expecting at the full 10 minutes, but both sides were keen to get back into it, and at the moment it is a 24-3 lead to the Canada Northern Lights over Great Britain. We hope to get in there for the huddles at quarter time, for three-quarter time rather, as the kick is long by Moreau, but only was intercepted off half-back. So an opportunity now for the GB Swans to try and work it up the ground. If they can kick one or two in the breeze, they're back in the ball game. But if they fail to, then Canada can just sit back and hold on to their lead, as Jones, I think, took that mark in front of Moreau. Eastern side wing of the ground. Peter Holden with you on CBC Sports as the ball is long over the head there of Hocking, who went after the football, couldn't pick it up. Ball on the ground, Willis going in afterwards, fighting and scrapping hard, gave a little hand pass away. No good. Slap of the football, as you just heard there, right through our effects, Mike. Hurry kick away. Danny Salter picks it up, ran straight into Amy Legault. He did the work. He got it out to Nguyen. He got it out to Willis. He got a little hand pass in the air, only for it to be turned over. Opportunity here for the GB Swans. Turner shrugs him off. Goes inside 50 with the kick. Now trying to chase after the football is Amanda Irwin. She's under all kinds of pressure. Has to try and shrug off her opponent there. And Alana Blonde did okay, but only got as far as half back. Ramadan managed to hold it up. There's high contact. And the umpire said she's going to need a Barocca in the morning, and she gets a free kick. She gets up off the ground going, where the heck am I? You're in Australia. She's probably going, no, seriously, where the heck am I? No, you're in Australia. And feeling a bit worse for wear after that one. Now, I'm not sure of the rules of the International Cup, but in the VFL women's competition, if there is a serious injury and a player is down, because there's no time on in that competition, if a serious injury and a player is down and the umpire blows the whistle, like in this case, they can actually stop the clock because obviously the player safety is paramount. And at the moment, they're just checking her out to make sure that she's okay. The doctor's doing the check of the neck and everything, obviously to make sure that, most importantly, she hasn't done a serious neck injury, making sure that she's okay and can see everything. She's moving her arms. That's obviously a good thing. Umpires put the hand up and blown the whistle, so clock stops due to the serious injury. The good thing is she's on her feet, so everyone's happy about that. But she just might be in a slightly different space for a moment, head-wise. I think that might be, with the number just being guarded, might be Gray that had the stuffing knocked out of her. So we'll have the clock restarted in just a moment's time. And Ramadan will have, Ramadan's in the goal square, and I think it might be Hocking that has the free kick for the Swans. So they wait for the player to clear the ground, and clock restarts, and we're away again. So the hurry kick inside 50. Ramadan came after it, took out Perry on the way through. Irwin tried to get a hurry kick in there. Turner now being thrown on the ball. Goes sky high with a kick. Salter parked herself underneath it, got bumped off of it. Going after it to Sutherland, couldn't get the football out. Amy Legault tried to go for the hurried snap. Hocking goes for a run, gets on the left boot. It was ambitious, but the mark was easily read there. Balaka for the Northern Lights, who played on quickly. Foolish thing to do, coming out of the back line. Gets a rush straight away. Got the hand pass. Managed to get it quickly to Halliday, who went up the line, only for it to be intercepted. Hurry kick for Turner, who dropped it while under pressure. Turner goes again, being sat on by Gomez. Ball's built free. Now Van Savannah's got the football. Manages to unleash a teammate who went up towards the wing position. But unfortunately for the Canada Northern Lights, they're being stalled at the moment on the wing by the GB Swans. Their wall's holding up okay. Ramadan gets a big shove underneath the football. And the umpire says she'll get a resulting free kick. Stacey Hughes hiding in the pocket. She's one calling for it. Another player screaming out loud as Torrance in the pocket. And a 25-metre penalty. This is going to put Ramadan in range. 40 metres out. Legault on the mark. An opportunity for Rania Ramadan to score the GB Swans' first goal of this match here at Plenty War Memorial Park. She's getting the cheers from the Canadian supporters. Rania Ramadan from the Nottingham Scorpions gets on the right boot. It's high, it's in the air. Hughes couldn't quite bring it in, came off hands. Has to go against Stacey Hughes, over the top of the ball. Nguyen's thrown it, umpire said no, play on. Going in there again is Danny Salter, came off bodies and it will be a throw in. right in front of our broadcast position here at Plenty War Memorial Park on CBC Sports. We wait for it to be thrown back into play. Ball spins sideways. Punched away by Gomez. On the ground, Ilmi Gomez again. Stolen by Danny Salter. She's going to get run down by Legault, and she is G-O-N-E gone. A little bit of a how do you do going. New Wens having a bit of a how do you do with, it looks like Torrance off the football. They're exchanging insurance details as Legault gets on the right boot. She goes out towards the centre wing, eastern side of the ground. Came off hands. Kerwin tried to pick it up one-handed. Couldn't do so, but a player that did and ran away with it was Perry, who kicked it straight on the backside of Laura Turner. She won't sit down for 2 days after that. Trying to spin around there with a quick hurried hand pass out was the player in Oja. There's a smothered ball by Jones, and it goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. GB Swans all of a sudden with a bit of urgency in their game, and I think they've looked at the scoreboard and realised time to have the coffee, wake up and smell the roses. They're down by 21 points, and they've got to get back into the contest. From behind, Hocking hit the ground. She went off the ground and then almost socked mid-air by Sutherland. They move it to Ramadan, who went after the football. Legault's got it. Got to shake off a tackle. Gets on the left boot. Player goes down behind player. It's getting rough. It's getting willing in there at the moment. No question about it. Hand pass came out to Valley Moreau, who's got enough space to build a car parking lot. Then she got shoved over the boundary line by Jones, who caught up with her, and she kicked it out of bounds on the full. So free kick for the GB Swans. Forward of centre wing, eastern side of the ground. Here at Plenty War Memorial Park. Most of the scoring goals-wise has been to the southern end. But GB will be looking to kick to the northern end to try and break this game open to get back into the contest. Hocking went for Sutherland, couldn't get to her. Hilary Perry wants to go in there. Danny Salter over the top, can't extract the football. Perry again, one more time. Being taken down by Sutherland. And the umpire blows the whistle and calls for a ball up. Live on CBC Sports, the AFL International Cup semi-final action for women and round 4 for men on Tuesday. Keep an eye on the CBC Sports site for more details. That's Tuesday Australian time, Monday night in North America. As the kick is long up the line, looking for Kerwin. Couldn't get onto the football. Wilson comes away with it and kicks it in towards the middle of the ground. Was looking for Ramadan or Danny Salter. Ramadan decides to knock it to advantage. Got it to Torrance, who got brought to ground on the cricket pitch. Got the hand pass away, only as far as Hilary Perry. Perry went to Halliday. Halliday on the right boot, goes long and high towards half-forward flank with a kick. Goes towards a 1-on-3, and the Canadians might win out of that. I think it might be Van Bennett who's on the ground. Tries to hurriedly scrappy, get the hand pass out. Traffic jam of players like it's a rugby maul. Umpire blows the whistle and calls for a ball up. Van Bennett and Hilmy there going in that contest. Umpire with the ball just forward of centre for the Canada Northern Lights. Up at the air, away we go again. Gomez brought the ball to ground. Taken away quickly there with a hurry kick around the corner by Oja. Moved it inside 50. And a mark taken by Valerie Moreau. They call her a rocket. Moreau on the right boot. Goes long and high with a kick. Gains some distance on it. Smacked away on the last line of defence. On that occasion by Beth Bailey. And the ball will go over the boundary line and out of bounds. Peter Holden with you on CBC Sports. Currently on YouTube at the moment. Also, if you search for the USAFL, they're playing European Crusaders. That's the other women's match being streamed today. We can obviously watch that back on replay later on as the ball is thrown back in. The umpire says the Great Britain Swans player who took it got collared high and will get a resulting free kick for contact above the shoulder. So the Swans with the ball in defence. Long towards the outer side of the ground. Oh, Legault ran at best, couldn't quite bring it in at the crucial moment. Going there is Hilmy. Kicked it over the top for Kerwin. Kerwin on the right boot, going long for goal. It's away to the right and will register as a minor score. 3-7-25, Canada Northern Lights, 3 behind the GB Swans here in the AFL International Cup. At Plenty War Memorial Park, the kick back into play, long and high. Gomez brought the ball to ground. Got a feeling the player got leg there. And the umpire said, no, Oja didn't. Play on. Halliday goes in there. She can't extract it. Turner, the GB Swans captain, she's circling the pack, waiting for it to come out. Van Bennett is there as well. Perry put it quickly on the left boot. One bounce. They try to trap it for the Robertson direction. I think maybe getting onto that was Arnold. And she gets wrapped up. The umpire says the ball dribbled over the line and we'll have a throw in. 30 metres out from the goal for Canada, going to the southern or city end of the ground here. If you look at this semi-rural setting, it's because we're in Melbourne's outer northern suburbs here in Plenty, just north of Greensborough, as Pack forms. Hilmy got it out to Lego, who immediately got run down there by Ramadan. Managed to get the hand pass out and a hurry kick away there by Laura Robertson. It moved away towards the right-hand side. Dribbling football. Kerwin goes after it. Managed to get it out to Hilmy. Hilmy on the right boot. Umpires played a free kick. And I think he's pinned it for a throw. And it will be going the way of the GB Swans in Beth Bailey. So Bailey with a footy. She is at half-back flank, western side of the ground. Side down by 22 points. They've got to find a way home. They've got to find a goal to chip into this, the GB Swans. Otherwise, Canada can just keep on chewing up the clock and sit on their comfortable lead at the moment. Going through there. Hurry kick by Hilmy. Wants to go inside 50. Over the head there, Perry. Vancevenet waiting out there and had a quick snap on goal. Leah Vancevenet away to the right for a minor score. One behind. 3 goals, 8 behinds, 26 points Canada, 3 behinds, 3 points for the GB Swans here on CBC Sports. And as we said, the grand finals being held for men's and women's on Saturday. And a friendly reminder, next Sunday, girlsplayfooty.com, we do our radio call, the VFL Women's Competition. We've got a game between St Kilda Sharks and VU Western Spurs, if you're keen to hear that. But that's at about 1 o'clock local time in Melbourne, which might be like 11 o'clock Saturday night in North America. Hurry kick away there by Kerwin. Got on the left boot. Try to put it in the direction there of Ellie Moreau. Taken, though, and immediately wrapping up Alexandra Pell. And the umpire blows the whistle and says she was all wrapped up, nowhere to go, but with no prior opportunity. So we'll call for a ball up. That's the part about the rule. If you have the ball and you're taken straight away by an opponent, the umpire said you had no realistic chance of getting rid of it, so they throw it up. But if you had it take on an opponent and then you get caught, then they say you had prior opportunity and it's holding the ball. As Moreau tried to get a hurry kick away, they put it be taken out of defence. Oh, good mark there. It's that Hocking that flew through the air and took that. She's been impressive this tournament. Gets on the right boot and goes long and high. Was heading in the direction of Darby, but it fell short of her. And an easy mark there by Kirsty Oja. She has the football for the Northern Lights, forward of centre wing, eastern side of the ground. Going long and high, pack flies. Kerwin went to go for it. Bounced off the pack, wanted to chase after it again. Vancevenet got it out to Nicole Robertson. Maybe she was claimed without the football. Umpire still calling play on. Hurry kick by Torrance out of defence. Straight through the hands there of the player in Pell who wanted to hang on to the football. Close towards the boundary line. UN sees it over and will have a throw in. Time is Canada's best friend at the moment. The clock keeps ticking. Their lead looks even more impressive. 23 points. They're up by 26-3. The GB Swans shocked. They easily beat Pakistan. Tough game, but they were in control against Fiji. And now they find themselves down, the European champions, against the reigning international champions. Turner up against the boundary line. Got pulled down 1, 2, 3 bounces. Gained about 40 metres on the kick. Thought it was over. The boundary umpire was on the spot. Said no, it was just kept in play. Now looking for Willis in the middle of the ground. Through her hands. She's immediately caught by Ramadan. The umpire said it was too high. And that will be a free kick. So Chanel Willis on the left boot. Going up the line. Mark taken. Kirsty Oja takes it again. Forward of centre. Northern Lights at the moment finding their targets better than the GB Swans, who are more just kicking in hope. That's probably been the difference between the two sides. It's come off hands. Kerwin on the left towards Robertson through her hands. Stays in play. Oh, she's taken high there. And the umpire says she'll get a free kick. She'll be put on an acute angle, though. So she'll probably have to run around. Or if she's been watching Stevie Johnson, it's the 1-2 steps and over the shoulder routine. 1-2 steps, decides to, I don't know, centre or have a shot. Either way, it's across the face. Hilmy tries to go to run onto the football. She's immediately harassed and dispossessed of the football, courtesy of Golden Gay. And Golden Gay now moves the ball up towards the half-back flank position, looking for Ramadan, who just takes out an opponent on the way through. Willis gets immediately claimed. Halliday's lurking nearby. And pass looking for Legault. Beaten out to it. Sutherland got physical. Ramadan went in there, tried to strip her opponent of the football. Umpires blown the whistle and said, I'll have the ball back, thank you. So ball up, half-back flank for the GB Swans, half-forward flank for the Canada Northern Lights. Brought to ground. Salter was running nearby. Moreau takes it though. Try to get through traffic. Immediately claim. Managed to break the tackle originally of Bennett, but then got caught the second time around and dropped the football. So the Swans with a free kick. Players running forward for them. They defensive side of centre, western side of the ground, near their coach's bench. Here's the right boot kick. It's long and it's high, goes up the line. Now looking for Danny Salter to get onto it, and she goes for a run. Salter going inside 50, looking for the one-on-one. Will they get the kind bounce? Almost getting Falcon there was Alana Blond. Going back there is Amy Legault. She's your insurance policy. She gets it, cashes in, gets on the right boot and goes long to Valerie Moreau. Moreau on the right boot, goes long and wide up the line, looking for either Kerwin or her teammates in Hilmy, but it came off the hands and went over the boundary line and out of bounds. So we'll have a throw in between centre wing and half forward flank for the Canada Northern Lights. They've repelled that attack just when the GB Swans were starting to finally look a little bit dangerous. Still in control of this game, the Northern Lights up by 23 points. Hurry kick out of the pack, got smothered. Umpire blows the whistle and says, I'll call for the ball back, thanks. So we'll have a ball up. Away we go again. Punch forward. Try to put it into the path there of a player to run onto. Bobby Smith out there as umpire blows the whistle again for another ball up. Garth there at the moment screaming instructions from the boundary. Must be frustrated. Just have not been able to crack through for a goal as Hocking on the tap and got it forward. They're trying to put it into the agency of Baker. And it'll go over the boundary line and out of bounds one more time. So keep an eye on CBC Sports for those times on Tuesday for round 4 of the men's match for the Canada Northwind, and who the Canada Northern Lights will be playing in the semi-final. Most likely will be against the USA Freedom, and that game, time to be determined. You'll find out more on aflic17.com.au where they have the full fixture. As the kick, I think, went as far as Halliday, got dispossessed of the football, courtesy of Golden Gate that was out the back, and now the hurry kick inside 50. Trying to control the football there is Park, wanted to hold it up, but charging out of defence there was the player in UN who immediately got dispossessed of the football. Here's the hurry kick back inside 50, trying to hold up the wall there is Irwin. She got dispossessed, coming through is Park, who cleaned up a few, like she was cleaning up a Park. Going in there again for Gray, and the umpire says, with a John McEnroe bandage round her head, I'll have the football back. And we'll call for a ball up. Can the GB Swans get one before three-quarter time? It's up in the air. Tap down. Hit the ground. UN is there. Trying to go in there with a hurried hand pass out was Halliday. Hilmy with a don't argue. Managed to get rid of Danny Salter. Got it out towards the half-back flank position. 3-on-2 numbers here with the GB Swans if they can try and work it out, and they cannot. Just too good there is Ocho, who went left and then went right, got round Salter and got round Blount, who kicked long up the line. Mark taken by Hilary Perry. Perry now on the right boot, goes towards Amy Legault inside the centre square. Amy Legault goes for a run, kicks inside 50 with her kick, looking for a player to run onto the football. Couldn't do so. There, Kerwin is lurking around the pack, so is Robertson as well. She can't extract the football. Being caught with it is Alex Salter. Tries to get a hand pass out, and that's the hooter for three-quarter time. I'd give that quarter as a win to the Canada Northern Lights. As much as GB had an improved performance and came at them, because they couldn't make an impact on the scoreboard, Canada did what they needed to do, just chew up the clock. And that means the score as it sits at three-quarter time here at Plenty War Memorial Park and Plenty, home of the Diamond Creek Women's Football Club, a 23-point lead to the Canada Northern Lights. They lead the GB Swans 3-6-24 to 3 behinds. We'll be back after this. Umpire blows the whistle. We are underway. Final term action as Hocking wins the punch here for the GB Swans. Gains 20 metres. Ball ricocheted backwards though. Valley Moreau over the top of the pitch. Couldn't get it out there. Hilmy's immediately wrapped up by Alex Salter. And the umpire blows the whistle and calls for a ball up. So we'll go again in the middle of the ground. We throw the ball up in the air once more. Brought down there by Gomez. Moreau wrapped up by Hocking, and we'll call for a ball up. We'll set ourselves again. Hocking beats out Gomez. Jones on the left boot, kicked it round the corner. Tried to gain about 15 metres. Getting in there, Lucy Jones again, who chased up her own kick. Support from Alex Salter, wraps up Lara Hilmy. And we'll call once again for a ball up. That's what we do, away we go again. Legault takes it and pumps it in long inside 50. running out after the football. In front of her, Louise Smith. Smith tried to knock it to the advantage of Powell, but she was knocked off the footy. Half-back flank here, scrapping in hard. McDevitt went sideways with her possession. That one will surely be in the back. And a free kick going the way of the GB Swans player, who gets up, going, who the heck rode me? Is the number 10, Al Sutherland. Sutherland gets up, minus the saddle. 50 out from defensive goal. One step, then just goes on the left, goes up the line, over the head there, Rania Ramadan. Now it's a foot race. Danny Salter and Van Savenek going there. Oh, a few players got knocked over. Out the back here for Beth Bailey, who manages to go up the line. Danny Salter's lurking around with support. Ball's close towards the boundary line. Alana Blount going after it, and the umpire blows the whistle and says, I'll call for a ball up by the look of it. A ball up, 35 metres out for the GB Swans goal. They need one right now because time is not their friend. Down by 23 points. Legault ripped off the football. Jones sits on it, gets all wrapped up. Umpire blows the whistle and will call for a ball up. So at the moment, the Canadians up by 23 points as we wait for the ball to be thrown up inside 50. Away we go again. Jones dispossessed by Van Savenet. In with Moreau, got it out to Perry. Perry shows a clean pair of heels. Gets on the left, goes up the line with a kick. Oh, great mark backing backwards. Oja takes the mark for the Canada Northern Lights. Really outplaying the GB Swans today. Past Kerwin. Good bump laid on. No, umpire says that's an infringement. And which way is it going? Canada must be one off the ball. Kerwin now swings around on the right boot, long and high, going towards the half-forward flank position. Pack of 8 collide. Ball hit the ground. Going in there and trying to get the football out was the 29 in Caroline Island, but the Swans have attacked and repelled it and gone up the line. Was trying to find a teammate, and Alex Salter up there, couldn't get to her. Pressure laid on there by Bowden, did well, she held it up. And Van Savenek comes out of the pack, and she goes on the right boot. Oh, getting crunched in the middle of that. Cheese and a toasted sandwich. It was Paul Caroline Island. Trying to get in there as well was Darby, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. Moreau nearly goes crashing into the fence and the scoreboard. As we'll throw it in, 3-8-26 leads 3 behinds. 23-point lead to Canada. Back into play. Hocking punched it forward. Dancing around the pack there, Jacqueline Halliday. Gets on the right, goes inside 50 with the kick. Excellent work there from behind by Louise Smith. Ball pumped out. Taking it is Beth Bailey. Pumped it in long towards centre wing. Ramadan shoved off the football without it. That's a blatant free kick every day of the week. If she was shoved any further, she was going to end up in Thomastown. And no, it's gone the other way. My goodness. What does the umpire see there? Should have gone to Specsavers, I guess, as the ball goes long up towards the half-forward flank. Mark taken there by the Swans. Hurry kick, looking for Smith. Smith had it, then got knocked away from her. Now Legault tries to sock it off the ground, chasing after the football, going at the top of the square. She kicks it through! Amy Legault gets the hugs. It's time to hashtag get around her. The Northern Lights captain, Amy Legault. If she holds any bigger of a party, we're going to need a double-decker bus. She virtually seals it. 4-8-32, the Northern Lights. 3 behinds, the Great Britain Swans. New, don't bother to go pick it up. The foot race was on, just soccer it on the ground and then soccer it again. The former semi-pro soccer player just goes ole, ole, ole and puts that one through. And a 29-point lead to Canada means they'll be definitely taking out Pool A, and they'll be having a showdown with the USA Freedom in their semi-final, barring a PNG upset of Ireland. And the kick here is out of bounds on the full. The Northern Lights, who were shaken by Fiji in their first game, and they only won by a point and won it in extra time. It seemed to be the wake-up call that they needed and certainly changed their attitude. coming into today's game. Mark taken here with a hurry kick in the direction of Valley Moreau. She was from behind, dispossessed her opponent, then put it forward towards the half-forward flank, taking it cleanly there and going for a run. McDivitt kicked it in towards the synthetic cricket pitch in the middle of the ground. Past Hilary Perry, who had to go back and get it again, looking to get to Hilmy, who then got on the right boot, kicked it in the Moreau direction. Had a player in Sutherland on her hammer. Sutherland brought it to ground. Torrance was lurking nearby, but the ball's popped out here. Going to slam it on the boot, going inside 50. Chance for Robertson! Robertson, 25 out, gets collected, and the umpire says that's dropping the football. Free kick going the way here of Beth Bailey. Gets on the left boot, goes towards half forward. Overrunning it here, short. Kerwin, 45 out, goes for home. Won't bounce back the correct way. It'll go looking for the boundary line. That's the best result. If it will go out, it will, as it was taken by McDivitt the last second. And then she gets ironed out for her troubles. And she gets up, shakes it off. The European champions are stunned here by the reigning IC14 champions. As the ball is thrown back into play. But there to Gomez, who lost her feet at the back. Legault went up in the air, couldn't get there. Tried to get a hurried hand pass out of the pack. Moreau is circling. Going in there and dispossessed of it. Lana Blount, who had to go in one more time. Robertson was hailing a cab. Don't argue. Perry goes to the snap. It's away to the right. 4:9:33 Canada. Great Britain 3 behinds. Here on CBC Sports. Make sure you search online for AFL Canada if you're really enjoying this contest and want to know about Aussie rules football. Men and women can play. There's leagues right across Canada. Just search AFL Canada. And some of the Canadians will be taking part in the US AFL Nationals coming up in San Diego, California, if you're interested in going, check that out in October. Such as Montreal did, and Quebec, men play in that competition as well. Plenty of football right across North America, and likewise some USA teams playing in Canada, such as the Seattle Grizzlies plays in the British Columbia footy competition up there. One of the teams with a great name is the Vancouver Vixens, who play that British Columbia competition. Ball's thrown up in the air, hurry kick out there. I think that's a better. They might just put the boot on the ball there, looking for Robertson, Nicola Robertson. Kerwin doesn't like to go, pick up the football. Now getting buzzed by Torrance. That's holding, that's a free kick. Torrance went to claim her because she thought Kerwin was going to pick up the football, but Kerwin didn't. Just got trapped into it. And Nicola Kerwin will have the resulting free kick. Originally from Ireland, playing for the Etobicoke Kangaroos. A best and fairest in the AFL Ontario competition. Nicola Kerwin looking to put through her third. She's got 2 already. Moreau's got 1. Legault's got 1. And it's away to the right. Minor score. 1 behind. 4:10:34. Canada Northern Lights. GB Swans are shell-shocked. 3 behinds. As with the football, Smith has got it, brings it back into play. Smith goes long towards centre half back, standing tall. Lovely grab taken there by Beth Bailey, who played on, kicked it, and then got dealt with afterwards. Bouncing football towards centre half forward now. Now centre half back as Danny Salt is beaten out in that contest by Oja, who then got run down. Umpires allowed play to go on close towards the boundary line. Now seen over in the end by Nguyen. And we'll have a throw in 40 metres around for the GB Swans goal, going towards the city end of the ground. And when we say city, if you look through the camera and you go, that's a bunch of houses, that doesn't look like a city, we say that's the direction of the city if you kept driving south, which is probably a good 40 minutes drive from here, as we're in the outer northern suburbs of Melbourne here at Plenty. As the ball is thrown back into play, Danny Salter wanted to try and lay the tackle, but just charging her way through there. Ojo tries to feed out the hand pass to Nguyen, who got beaten out for it. Turn was waiting out at the back like it was a rugby scrum, and the umpire blew the whistle. No, I thought he was going to reach for it. He sees it go towards the boundary line now, knowing it got knocked out of the pack. Ojo goes in and wins the football again, puts it on the right boot, went long up the line, came off hands, up against the boundary line, kicking it forward was Hocking. Just going in there, pack of players, and umpire circling. He's just allowing that scrimmage to go on. Now it will go over the boundary line and out of play, and we will have a throw in. Not too far away from a full-time siren here at Plenty War Memorial Park. This concludes the regular rounds. We should mention that 4 teams in each division, and that the top 4 go through to the semi-finals to play off for the #1 spot, the grand final. The bottom 4 still continue playing. They play, I guess, what you could call their own semi-finals series. And they play against each other to try and get rankings. Because what happens on Friday at Royal Park, in theory, 3rd plays 4th to try and decide who will finish 3rd in the competition rankings. 5th plays 6th and 7th plays 8th. So they will all play on Friday to get their rankings from 3 through to 8. 1st and 2nd, of course, the winners of the semi-finals, they play off in the grand final at Etihad Stadium. So a minimum of 5 games for all the teams in the women's division, which is absolutely fantastic. As Turner goes in there to try and lay a tackle on New Wen. Ball spilled free, still at the half forward now. Just over the top of the football, New Wen wants to go again, lurking around the pack there. Alana Blount can't get it out. Now it does so. Came out through Eels. He fed off the hand pass to Danny Salter. Trying to find Alex Salter inside 50. Came away from her. Socket off the ground. Tries to go in and pick up the football. There is Bennett. Bennett gets caught immediately. Coming in to lay a tackle as well as Baker. Ball squeezed out the back. Hurry kick here for the GB Swans inside 50. Goes into a traffic jam. There's at least half a dozen running after it on the far side of the ground. Had the football momentarily, then got stripped. Was Anor. She managed to gain about 30 to 40 metres with a kick, close towards the boundary line. Going in there is Hocking. Managed to slap the ball forward for the Swans. Was trying to put it to the advantage of Stacey Hughes, but the ball goes over and out. Hughes, one of the players on the side from Glasgow. Glasgow's got the Giants and the Sharks and their competition up there in Scotland. There's teams, as we said, in Nottingham, the Scorpions, and of course, the 8-team AFL London Women's League, where they play 18 aside, and they're trying to start up a competition in Wales. I know Cardiff has been having some tryout days, which is fantastic to see. So if someone's in the south of England, or if you're in Wales, around Bristol and Cardiff, they're trying to start up some teams. So if you know some friends that are located down that way, make sure you ask them to sign up and play some Aussie rules football. Back into play, far side of the ground. Turner waiting for it to pop out. Moreau's there as well. Now out to Turner. Umpire signalled a free kick for too high. Doesn't play the advantage down the ground. And it will be coming back here for the GB Swans. And I think it might be in the hands of Bennett, who kicks inside. Oh, Ramadan might have caught one in the back there. No, says the umpire. Going in to lay the tackle there is Turner. And the umpire will call for a ball up. Umpire, oh, hang on, something's happened behind play where 2 players have collided and they're feeling a little worse for wear here. As it's just off the side of that pack. Van Savenet is one of them and Ramadan's the other. They're both of those who hit it fairly hard and collided when they went in that contest. And the umpire just stopping things for safety. Not sure if the timekeepers have spotted that, but we have a stop in play. As we wait for the trainers to come out there. And what sometimes happens in AFL when there's a long stoppage in play, even with no time on or time off, is that the teams will normally go into 2 huddles and just have a chat amongst themselves, talk about what game plan they're setting up for when play gets underway, particularly if there's a stretcher that comes out, so it takes a minute or 2 for a player to be taken off the ground. As Van Savenet in the agency of trainers is being taken off the ground. And we will be just about ready to restart play. And we'll get underway once more. Leah Van Savenet played some games with the Eastern Devils in either their first, which is in the VFL Women's competition, or their seconds, which plays in AFL Southeast Women's Division 1. There used to be just the one statewide competition called VFL, or called the VWFL, the Victorian Women's Football League, which had Premier Division and divisions right down to Division 5, which you virtually played, according to your grade, you played right across Melbourne, or in case sometimes up to even Bendigo or Shepparton. Now they've changed the competition where there's only just the one statewide league per se in the VFL Women's. Where essentially just 10 teams play in that, and then the rest are broken up either into smaller suburban areas, so you probably travel no more than an hour to your nearest ground, or you of course play in the VAFA, which is divisional structure but not as high quality as the VFLW, and you play teams from across Melbourne and they play against teams based on ability. rather than location. But needless to say, those teams in the suburban leagues also have their first, second, third divisions, etc. So you are at least not getting belted by 200 plus points if you're stuck in that type of divisional scenario. There is, particularly out of the VAFA women's, been some very close games, which is great to see across their 5 divisions. As the ball is knocked towards the boundary line, almost going out. Chasing after it is Alex Salter, who put it on the right boot for the GB Swans. Ronnie Moreau goes after it, couldn't get the football. Bennett laid a tackle, popped out. Hilmy has to shrug off a couple, gets on the right boot, kicked it up the line. Kerwin chasing after the football, beaten out to it, but managed to slap it forward only as far as Alex Salter. Went with the hand pass to Danny Salter, who put it on the right boot, went long and high inside 50. Oh, juggling it and couldn't quite hang on to it there. Was the 18 there in Park, and it will be taken out of defence for the Canada Northern Lights. They go out towards the wing position. Danny Salter's quick though. She gets onto it. Her kick on the right let her down. Just pinpointed a Northern Lights opponent who goes up the line looking for Nicola Robinson, who takes the mark. And Nicole Robertson, I keep calling her Nicola, pardon me. Nicole Robertson. Sun was shining on my screen and I didn't see the A or the E. As the goes towards the half forward line. Kerwin gave it off. A chip inside 50. Oh, it's a bouncing football. Foot race on here. It is going to hold up. Managing to get to it. Oh, she's kicked it on the full, I think. She has. Under pressure, Lauren Short got shoved over by Valen Moreau at the crucial moment and has put it out of bounds on the full. It's a free kick. A free kick on the siren to anyone from the Northern Lights that wants to take it. Looks like they don't. They're calling that full time. Full time here at the AFL International Cup. We'll run out in the middle. We'll see if we can grab maybe Nicola Kerwin, who kicked 2 today, who was fantastic, and Hilary Perry. In fact, they are going to have a shot at goal. Valen Moreau's going to have a ping on an acute angle. Let's see how she goes. She can't run around because she run around. That's called play on and a dead ball. So she has to run. She has to go a direct line. Direct line to see if she can add insult to injury. Valen Moreau, rocket, hand. He went for the banana, went back the other way, put her hand up going, I obviously need to work on my check sides. Valen Moreau there. And the Canada Northern Lights are victors and top of Pool A as they go through to the semi-finals. 4 goals, 10 behinds, 34 points. Defeating Great Britain Swans, 3 behinds. In a moment's time, we're going to get out there to the huddle and we're going to hear from 1 or 2 of the players just before we quickly wrap up here. You are listening to the AFL International Cup right here on CBC Sports.
Hey, what's up? This is Gwen from No Doubt.
BG, how would you describe your opponents to GB Swans?
I'd say it was just a mixture, a different type of game. You can't really compare the 2 teams. It was a good physical game, lots of space for running, so I think it was a more matched side in terms of the skill level for each team today.
Do you think it came down to hitting targets today? You seem to do that more frequently than your opponents.
Chances to get on the board, so if we convert those behinds into goals, it's a less competitive game in one. So
big one on Tuesday. It's the All North American semi-final. If things go as expected, you'll play the USA Freedom.
That should be good. It'd be a nice opportunity for myself. I haven't come across them yet as my first year, but one step at a time, and we come together as a team.
Of course, we distinct that voice originally from Ireland. How do you feel that if things go as planned, you could be up against the country you were born in, up against Ireland in the grand final at Etihad Stadium next Saturday?
As soon as the horn goes, you play for the colours that you're in, so that will be a factor for me.
Nicola, thanks very much for your time and all the very best in the remainder of the tournament.
Thank you.
Nicola Kerwin joining us there from the Canada Northern Lights. And just one last one quickly before we go. I see the coach of the Canada Northern Lights in Jason Arnold. Jason, a bit of a challenge against the GB Swans, but I think from the contrary point of view, it just seemed to be the difference was you were able to execute your targets better.
It did. It was a lot windier than I thought it was. That the breeze picked up, and we were good. Like 14 shots a goal to 3. Defence did a great job, and if we had capitalised and been a little bit smarter around inside 50, we probably would have won by a bit more. So there's always things to improve on. As a coach, I've got to be conscious of making sure that we acknowledge the great efforts, and the midfield were fantastic.
You managed to rotate a few players too. We talked about Lara Hilmy, Hilary Perry, Oja in there as well. Nicola Kerwin had a bit of a run at some stage when she pushed up from the forward line. Plenty of distance in the legs that just seemed to carry the ball better, where the GB Swans seem to be more of just grab the ball and kick it.
But we're blessed to have like 8, 9, 10 players that can rotate through that midfield. And I thought Kirsty, you mentioned Kirsty, she's a rookie and she had a great game today. It was a breakthrough game for her. She's a super athlete. She runs a sub 13 3K, which is elite even for AFLW standard. Still learning the game, still making mistakes, but she's really exciting. And to complement our other, Legault, Helmy, Moreau, just were really strong in there, which was important to us.
What do you think on for improving when you head into the semi-final in just less than 48 hours?
Praying that our players get up, because we've got a few sore girls there, and the 2-day break is really brutal on the girls there. So it's going to be all around player management, and the US are going to be a tough opponent. So that's going to be the focus at the moment.
Jason, thanks for joining us on CBC Sports. All the very best on Tuesday at Royal Park.
Thanks, Pete.
Jason Arnold there, the coach of the Canada Northern Lights. I'm Peter Holder on behalf of all the team here, including Paul Newport behind the camera and his assistant on graphics. You've been watching CBC Sports and the AFL International Cup Round 3 of the Women's Pool A. Canada are through to the semi-final. They'll most likely take on the USA Freedom. Keep an eye on the CBC Sports time for that official time, either late Monday night or into the early hours of Tuesday morning. Until then, it's bye for now. Unusual to play a game on Sunday, and what's going to be happening? Any of chance of a light training run, swimming session? What's going to happen till Tuesday?
Definitely staying out of the water, but no, definitely some recovery going to happen. I think we just tried to focus on the game today, so I haven't really thought too far ahead. Planning for I guess it'll be our US.
It's interesting. Ireland beat PNG. That means it's an all North American semi-final, and on the other side, an all British Isles semi-final.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were obviously hoping to face off against the US. It's always a battle. They're a team that we face parallel cup sort of on a regular basis. So I think it'll be an interesting game. We're sort of used to having to play and sort of. So I think it's going to be a really good game. I don't think anyone's going to walk away with a sort of a super win over one of each other. But
joining us on CBC Sports, best next week in the semi-final.
Thank you.
There we are, Lara Hilmy, and I think I just saw Nicola Kerwin just there, and I'll just see if I can grab her since she was the leading goal kicker with 2 today from the AFL Ontario competition. Nicola Kerwin, how does it feel to get on the scoreboard today? 2 goals in a pretty important game.
Yeah, it's take one day at a time, one game at a time, and maybe convert more of the behinds into the goals, but they all count at the end, so we just have to get our target hit.
How was the contest today? And we know that you've come up against an easy side in Pakistan, a very physical team in Fiji. How would you describe your opponents, the GB Swans?
I'd say it was just a mixture, a different type of game. You can't really compare the two teams. It was a good physical game, lots of space for running, so I think it was a more matched side in terms of the skill level for each team today.
Do you think it came down to hitting targets today? You seem to do that more frequently than your opponents.
Chances to get on the board, so if we convert those behinds into goals, it's a less competitive game in one. So
big one on Tuesday. It's the all North American semi-final. If things go as expected, you'll play the USA Freedom.
That should be good. It'd be a nice opportunity for myself. I haven't come across them yet as my first year, but one step at a time, and we come together as a team.
Of course, we distinct that voice originally from Ireland. How do you feel that if things go as planned, you could be up against the country you were born in, up against Ireland in the grand final at Etihad Stadium next Saturday?
As soon as the horn goes, you play for the colours that you're in, so that will be a factor for me.
Nicola, thanks very much for your time and all the very best in the remainder of the tournament.
Thank you.
Nicola Kerwin joining us there from the Canada Northern Lights. And just one last one quickly before we go. I see the coach of the Canada Northern Lights in Jason Arnold. Jason, a bit of a challenge against the GB Swans, but I think from the contrary point of view, it just seemed to be the difference was you were able to execute your targets better.
It did. It was a lot windier than I thought it was. That the breeze picked up, and we were good. Like 4-10, 14 shots at goal to 3. Defence did a great job, and if we had capitalised and been a little bit smarter around the inside 50, we probably would have won by a bit more. So there's always things to improve on. As a coach, I've got to be conscious of making sure that we acknowledge the great efforts, and the midfield were fantastic.
You managed to rotate a few players too. We talked about Lara Hilmy, Hilary Perry, Oja in there as well. Nicola Kerwin had a bit of a run at some stage when she pushed up from the forward line. Plenty of distance in the legs that just seem to carry the ball better, where the GB Swans seem to be more of just grab the ball and kick it.
And we're blessed to have like 8, 9, 10 players that can rotate through that midfield. And I thought Kirsty, you mentioned Kirsty, she's a rookie and she had a great game today. It was a breakthrough game for us. She's a super athlete. She runs a sub 13 3K, which is elite even for AFLW standard. Still learning the game, still making mistakes, but she's really exciting. And to complement our other, Legault, Helmy, Moreau, just were really strong in there, which was important to us.
What do you think is on for improving when you head into the semi-final in just less than 48 hours?
Praying that our players get up, because we've got a few sore girls there, and the 2-day break is really brutal on the girls there. So it's going to be all around player management, and the US are going to be a tough opponent. So that's going to be the focus at the moment.
Jason, thanks for joining us on CBC Sports. All the very best on Tuesday at Royal Park.
Thanks, Pete.
Jason Arnold there, the coach of the Canada Northern Lights. I'm Peter Holder on behalf of all the team here, including Paul Newport behind the camera and his assistant on graphics. You've been watching CBC Sports and the AFL International Cup Round 3 of the Women's Pool A. Canada are through to the semi-final. They'll most likely take on the USA Freedom. Keep an eye on the CBC Sports time for that official time, either late Monday night or into the early hours of Tuesday morning. Until then, it's bye for now.